The PlayStation 5 reveal event has come and gone, but that by no means means that every PlayStation 5 title has been revealed. That's far from the truth, and there's still potential for a lot more games to be announced. I'm not saying necessarily a lot more games to be announced that are coming this year. That is going to happen. However, there are definitely a lot of games that are being rumored, and I want to go through some of those in today's video. Specifically, we'll be going over a total of 12 games. Now, keep in mind, these are just rumors, so take it with a grain of salt for now. However, there does seem to be a lot of reports going around that these games are, in fact, happening. Alright, first up, Silent Hill Reboot, reportedly being done by Sony Japan Studio, who were relatively quiet. They've been very quiet over the last few months, but Silent Hill is a franchise that a lot of people want to see make a comeback. Reports have it that a new one has been in development. They just added Silent Hill content to Dead by Daylight, so usually when there's smoke, there's fire. Silent Hill is a game that unfortunately did not see its PS4 release with Silent Hills. We played the PT demo, that was incredible. That's kind of like one of those unicorns in gaming where if you have a PS4 with that PT demo still installed, it's worth quite a bit. Nevertheless, Silent Hill is having a reboot. That would be really cool to see, and it is one of the rumors. Alright, next up, Rocksteady has been reportedly working on a billion different games, but now it seems like we're actually getting some sort of clarity on what that game is going to be. Reportedly, it is going to be a Suicide Squad game. That is the current rumblings based on some domain names that Warner Brothers games had filed. Rocksteady is, of course, the studio that had worked on the Batman Arkham games. They are an incredibly talented studio, and they are really one of the first studios that showcase that yes, superhero games can in fact be good. For a long time, we were getting, you know, the Superman 64s of the world, and not to take anything away from games like Spider-Man Web of Shadows and Shadow Dimensions and games of that nature, but Batman Arkham really established that yes, superhero games can be big budget AAA experiences that are incredibly compelling. And Rocksteady, man, it's been a long time since we heard what they're doing. Batman Arkham Knight came out all the way back in 2015. It is now 2020. Obviously, they're cooking up something major. We know they've got a new game in the works, and Suicide Squad getting a video game, that would be pretty cool to see. Alright, next up, Warner Brothers Montreal has been busy as well. Batman Gotham Knights is rumored to be the game they're creating, so yes, Batman will be continuing to get new video games. This is not going to be a part of the Arkham series of games. However, Batman taking on a new form from Warner Brothers Montreal, that could be pretty cool. WB Montreal, I believe, actually did Batman Arkham Origins. Obviously, Arkham Origins wasn't that well received, but it was a pretty good game. It wasn't as well received as the three main games, but I thought it was still pretty decent, and Gotham Knights definitely has potential to be something of quality. We'll see how that turns out, and that's probably going to be announced relatively soon. Harry Potter RPG. This is one that's pretty much all but confirmed, but it does look like a Harry Potter RPG is in development. Harry Potter has not gotten a lot of great games, but it getting a PlayStation 5 RPG, that could be very, very cool. And some of the leaks that we've seen of the game has us very excited for the game, and it looks really, really good, so it'll be interesting to see if that does ultimately come together. Rumblings have it that the game is being developed by Disney Infinity maker Avalanche Software, and it's been in development since 2017, so hopefully it's relatively far along and we can play the game. Maybe not in 2020, but probably in 2021. Alright, next up, rumblings of a brand new Bungie IP has surfaced. Bungie's new Matter IP will be similar to Destiny, says job listing. Bungie has been responsible for some impressive franchises, namely the Halo trilogy, but of course now they're working on the Destiny games, and they've drifted away from Microsoft, and now they're doing their own things once again. Thankfully for them, they did get some funding, and they have a lot of money to their name right now. It seems that Bungie is working on a trademark project called Matter, and in the job listing, it is rumored to be more of a lighthearted role-playing game with a focus on handheld weaponry rather than guns that are featured in Destiny. Outside of that, not much more is known, but Bungie working on another new IP could be something cool, because I feel like the majority of people have already made up their minds on whether or not they are a fan of Destiny. Destiny is going to be one of their core experiences. They're going to continue to update it. They're going to continue to make it bigger. However, with all the funding and resources they have now, they can definitely have multiple projects in the works, and them working on something entirely different, a game like Matter. I think it portrays Bungie in a similar light to Insomniac, where Insomniac is working on games like Ratchet & Clank, and then they can also do titles like Spider-Man, and then they can diversify themselves a little bit. Sucker Punch also is very much like that, where Sucker Punch can shift between a Sly Cooper, they can do an Infamous, they can do a Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's good for studios to be working on different styles of games. It just keeps them a little bit fresh, especially to the consumer. Another widely rumored game, Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. Mass Effect Trilogy is a game that I think everybody wants to see. Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 absolutely need to be preserved, and while you can play them on Xbox One with backwards compatibility, on PlayStation it's really not possible, and you want to preserve Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and having that on the PlayStation 5, 4K 60 FPS, which should be easily possible with all the DLC, that would be a great re-release. Look, EA has this archive of amazing franchise, and the fact that they haven't done more remasters, whether it be the Crisis trilogy, which we're getting Crisis 1 remastered, but it's not going to be all 3 games, whether they haven't released Dragon Age, the Skate games. There's just so many quality titles that it's not a heavy undertaking to re-release these games with better visuals. However, EA just hasn't done it with Mass Effect. Hopefully, they do deliver on the Mass Effect Trilogy remaster. Next up, yes, I know everybody's playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, or you played through it. Maybe you played Final Fantasy 15, but at some point, Square Enix is going to go back to the well, and they are going to do a Final Fantasy 16. We know that Square Enix is a studio that works on multiple Japanese RPG projects. They do not sit on just one JRPG franchise and just focus on that for a long time, or one JRPG series of games. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is absolutely going to happen, but I would not be too surprised if Final Fantasy 16 is announced sooner rather than later. It's been quite a while since Final Fantasy 15 was released, going back to 2016, and yes, I know the mainline Final Fantasy games take a long time to develop. That's why I'm saying I do think an announcement can happen relatively soon, and then we're not going to be playing it relatively soon. Don't get it twisted on that. We're probably going to be playing it in 2024, 2025, but I do expect an announcement relatively soon, maybe within the next year. Next up, Far Cry 6. This one's pretty much cat's already out of the bag, probably going to be announced at the Ubisoft event. Will be interesting to see where they take Far Cry here. There's always been this notion of you don't need to fix what isn't broken, and Far Cry has definitely been relatively consistent. Are they going to want to stray away from that consistency? That is a question that remains to be answered, but we should be getting that answer very soon when the Ubisoft July event does come around. Ubisoft has a lot of games in the works right now, whether it be Watch Dogs Legion, Skull and Bones, they've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they've got Gods and Monsters, they've got Rainbow Six Quarantine. There are a lot of titles that are in development from Ubisoft, and a lot of them are of big IPs, and Far Cry, you know, it'll be interesting to see how long it can stay as a mainstay in gaming. At some point, maybe the luster will wear off, but I think that luster is still there, especially if they do add some core new elements to Far Cry 6. I'm not saying completely shift it from ground up, however, adding a new element or two, I think, can do the series quite good. Next up, this is one that's still a rumor, but Bloodborne Remaster. Man, is this one gonna happen? We heard from a lot of reporters that are relatively reputable that Bloodborne Remaster is in development alongside Demon's Souls Remake, and I do think it's a good idea. I mean, at the end of the day, Bloodborne's a great game, and people will 100% double dip on the game, whether it is for a PlayStation 5 version that runs at 4K 60 FPS, because God knows the PlayStation 4 version, while it was an amazing game, did have some technical limitations, or alternatively, they can do a PC version as well, and that could get people excited as well. Or you could do both. You probably do a PS5 and a PC version, and I think that just makes all the sense in the world. Sony is obviously not adverse to re-releasing games, and Bloodborne is one that I think is just free real estate to re-release, whether it be on PC and have the people on Steam buy the game as well, or it be on PlayStation 5 and you're just selling it to the PlayStation audience as well, and they're buying the game another time, because I do think they'd be easily willing to drop $40 to $50, maybe even $60 to get an uncapped FPS of Bloodborne, or at least 60 FPS. Alright, next up, Red Dead Redemption 1 Remastered. This is a rumor that still needs a little bit more validity. However, Rockstar is re-releasing Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 5, so why not do Red Dead Redemption 1? Look, Red Dead Redemption 2 was so well received and so many people bought the game. However, it was said that Rockstar Games would announce the game this year, that being RDR1 Remaster, and release it in either Q1 or Q2 2020. That timeline seems a little bit sus to me, given the fact that GTA 5 is probably going to be coming 2020 to PlayStation 5. I mean, you could do both games. The idea would be to recreate Red Dead Redemption 1 in Red Dead Redemption 2's engine and add some new pieces of content. I think you could do that, and you can easily charge $60 for the game. A lot of people think Red Dead Redemption 1 is fundamentally a better game than Red Dead Redemption 2, and from a storyline standpoint and other aspects of the game, I can understand why. RDR2, you're just comparing a game that was released in 2018 versus a game that was released in 2010, so I kind of have to give the edge to that game if we're just talking about the games compared side by side. But if you want to talk it relative to what other games were released at the time, yeah, you could absolutely make the argument RDR1 was a better game. I loved both titles, and to revisit RDR1 on on PS5, that would be amazing. Next up, a Call of Duty Black Ops reboot that does look to be a Call of Duty title in the works. Black Ops is one of the mainstays in Call of Duty, but it's Call of Duty at the end of the day. I don't think I need to add more to that. Probably gonna happen, and if not, Call of Duty at some point is gonna be happening on the PlayStation 5. And lastly, remains to be seen whether or not this is a PS4 or PS5 title, but Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster has been in the news recently. This one arose from Jeff Grubb, who noted that a Need for Speed Remaster was reportedly in the works. However, he wasn't sure. He didn't specifically name Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That's just one he labeled, and it seemed like he was more so questioning the possibility of Hot Pursuit being that remaster. Hot Pursuit is awesome. It was a game that was released in 2010 and really the last fantastic Need for Speed game. Super arcadey, super enjoyable, great weaponry in the game as well, and to see that remaster on the PS5 have a second lease on life, and who knows, they could even do a ground-up remake for NFS Hot Pursuit. That's how high quality of a game I thought it was, but nevertheless, if it happened, that would be great to see. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, outside of these 12 games, you know that there's going to be a lot of new IPs. You know that there's going to be games from the left wall and off the wall that we probably weren't expecting, and we're already seeing stuff like that, so keep your mind open. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.